What's good, everybody? It's your man DL saying, how y'all doing out there, man? I hope all is well. Hey, there is one big political race going on right now, and that's in New York. So the race for the next mayor of New York City is on right now, man. And it's, most people haven't heard anything about it. If because I'm a political junkie, so I pay attention. But most folks, especially folks that aren't in New York City, don't seem to care about this race. But it's a lot being said about this race. There's a young guy running, a New Yorker. He's an immigrant. He's Muslim, handsome young fella, sharp, very sharp on his feet, witty, and he has a plan. And man, the 1% don't like him. Established Republicans don't like him, obviously, and Democrats don't like him. The established Dems are trying to fight against him, which is really funny, really, really funny. And I wonder why, but I hope this guy wins. He's a Democrat, calls himself a Democrat socialist, and he explains what he means by that. But there's a video. He's done quite a few interviews lately because he is the front runner and looks like he's gonna win this thing. But you just never know, man. You just never know. So I think ABC did an interview with him. So let's check out this interview, man. And for those of you who don't know who he is, and a lot of people are like, bro, why do I even care? Because, a lot of folks who rock with me are in Australia and Canada, shout out to brother Cody, Europe, like UK, Africa. So we got a lot of folks like, man, what's going on? I got, shout out to Dino Dinosaur in London. I know he follows this. Shout out to you, bro, because I know you're watching. Appreciate you. But for everyone else, like, what's going on? What Zoran Mamdani is to me is a change to the status quo. And this is a guy that I believe the 1% cannot buy, and this is why they don't want him. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. The puppet masters, the people who pull the strings, the people who invest all the money in politicians, they don't want this guy. Why? Because this guy is going to take care of the average Joe. You and me, if we lived in New York, he would be taking care of us. Let's check out this video.
New York is not for sale.
Bro, dude means it.
34-year-old Zoran Mamdani has surged ahead in the race for mayor of New York City, leaving longtime political heavyweights scrambling to catch up.
When we launched this campaign 1 year and 3 days ago, we were dismissed as a punchline in the halls of power. Let our words ring out so loud tonight that Andrew Cuomo can hear them in his $8,000 a month apartment.
Wow.
While leading in many polls, Mamdani's experience is limited compared to his opponents.
Zoran, your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin.
This is not a job for a first-timer. Any day, you could have a hurricane, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic.
God forbid another 9/11. Can you imagine Mamdani in the seat?
Yeah, I could. He'd be cheering.
It's another problem.
Bro, you see, right? You see all the hate now, and by hate, I mean just the normal political hatred, like the I'm hating on you type hate, not real, true hatred. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to get rid of your type hate. But they don't want this guy. They're talking about he's too young, he's inexperienced, all this other kind of stuff. Like, this dude's a politician, right? He's, it's not like he's just sitting in his living room saying, I'm going to run for mayor of New York City, and this is his first political gig. And this is going to be a steep climb for him, absolutely. But he's in the political world. For him to do what he did, to get into a race in a city like that type of race, to raise the money to get support, get the support that he needs, and become the front runner, to go from 1% to leading this thing, bro, you have to know what you're doing as a politician. You have to have the right people around you. This dude might be the breath of fresh air that all of America needs. Not just the Democrats, not just the left, not just the right. This might, hopefully, if he wins and if he's able to, if he's able to implement 2 out of the many things he's talking about doing, if he can just get 2 of them done, funded, done, and make it happen, that dude will be a contender, I think, for the highest office in the land. I think this guy, if he wins, could actually probably run for president of the United States, bro. Let's continue.
But can you imagine that?
Cuomo later said he thought the radio host was joking.
The dream of every Muslim is simply be treated the same as any other New Yorker.
Dream of black people too.
And yet for too long, we have been told to ask for less than that and to be satisfied with whatever little we receive.
You guys can see what's going on here. I want to skip ahead and just kind of let's get to him actually on the street, walking and talking, and let's get to the interview. You know, I think that ABC did a really good thing putting that trailer together. It worked out really nice. But let's see and hear what this young man has to say and pay attention to his passion, bro. I mean, I've been kind of watching this guy, watching interviews and taking my time because I got like my people that know me, like my real people. They're like, bro, you be jumping on bandwagons too fast. You'll see a politician, they have one good interview, you see it, and you're like, that's the guy. You know what I mean? That's the girl, that's the one. And then only to find out that they're weirdos or they're really messed up and this and that. I'm like, you're right. I fall victim to that all the time. So this time I'm like, you know what? Let me watch a little bit more before I say anything, before I give my little DL Satan endorsement, which is worth nothing, but it means something to me. And so I've been watching this guy and I like what I see. I've also been watching Governor Wes Moore, but I still have to do some more research before I make up my mind on him. But I like what I'm seeing there as well. Governor Wes Moore, United States Army officer, paratrooper. I'm like, I'm good right there, but I still got to do some more checking. But anyway, let's get back to Mamdani.
Right on the subway.
Look at this, bro. He's a star. He's a celebrity.
Thank you guys so much.
Young kids love him.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Mr. Mamdani,
Hi,
Lindsay
how are you?
Davis, how are you?
Such a
nice
pleasure.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Mamdani has moved from underdog to frontrunner
It is definitely a different life.
in the New York City mayoral race. With strong numbers and momentum,
How you doing?
he stands on the cusp of a
Man, look at that.
historic win.
Older people like him
Here
too.
we go. Come on.
This dude's a celebrity, bro.
All day. Thank you, brother.
After garnering the support of more than 545,000 New Yorkers in the primary and gradually gaining endorsements from figures in Democratic leadership. He's also
AOC
become
loves
much more recognizable
Bernie
riding
Sanders.
the subway these days.
So how often is it, would you say, that you get that kind of welcome versus the hecklers?
It's generally been an outpouring of support and excitement. And also, it wouldn't be New York City if you didn't have a heckler. One thing I love about our city is there are New Yorkers who sound like they're heckling me, but they're actually saying something supportive.
Oh, is that right?
So
Okay.
there's definitely people who heckle, but I've also had people who pull up in their car and be like, I'm voting for you. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
With a frown, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you very much.
Mamdani's campaign went viral with a series of videos.
I'm freezing. You're rent.
But what they mean by that, man, like New Yorkers are real. Like they run up on you, I'll vote for you. But they're letting you know, get it right, because I'll come out here and find you and tell you when you get it wrong, which is cool. Unlike a lot of political offices, you win office and you go away, no one sees you again until it's time for election or it's time to raise some money. But he's got a lot of people that rock with him. He did it the old-fashioned way, man. He's out there shaking hands and kissing babies, and it worked. And he's young. He's got the young people with him.
When he initially launched his campaign 1 year ago, he's now the man to beat with about 1 week left until the election.
What do you say to people who feel that the New York City subway system just isn't safe?
It's not.
You know, I've heard this from a lot of
It's
New
not
Yorkers when I
safe.
ask them where they feel least safe, and they mention the subway system. You know, there's two things of it. The first is we have to understand the statistics of safety on the subway system, and also that people don't live their lives through statistics, right? There is that safety that we have across our subway system, and the fact of the matter is that people don't feel it often because what they're actually naming is the mental health crisis, the homelessness crisis, and the fact that we're asking police officers who many of them signed up to join the department to take on serious crimes to now have to deal with these crises and failures of the social safety net. And so at the core of our vision for public safety is an innovative approach to create a department of community safety that would say police officers can focus on police work, and we're going to have mental health outreach providers actually focus on the mental health crisis across.
Bro, if he can figure that part out, if he can make that happen, that right there would be legendary. You guys know how I feel about law enforcement over here. I think law enforcement, police officer in America should be the highest career field, like pay wise. Police officers get paid at minimum $100,000 across the board. Minimum, just starting, and it should go up from there. But like you said, police officers should not be the first on the scene when you're dealing with someone who is struggling with mental health, because the police officers aren't trained to deal with that. And a lot of times when they come across that, the person that's struggling with the mental health issue winds up getting hurt or worse, getting deleted by law enforcement because, again, they're not trained to deal with it. I would say that, yeah, you have to come up with another, class of law enforcement folks who deal with mental health, but they are supported and backed up by law enforcement. So the police officers kind of stay in the car, stay around the corner, whatever, and back up this person who's dealing with this mental health crisis from this individual. And then if they need help, they can say, hey, I need help, and the cops can run in and do what they do. But the fact that he's done that, like this guy's gone around New York, all the boroughs, 5 boroughs or whatever. He's going around all the boroughs. He's talked to folks and he's just basically listening to what they're saying. And he's trying to, make things better. But as far as the New York City subway system, man, that place, look, I never take the subway in New York. If I'm in Japan, if I'm in Tokyo, I'm in the subway all day long, bro. All day long. It was one of the safest subway systems I've ever seen in my life, anywhere on the planet. But New York, one of the worst. There's no way I'm going to go in the subway in New York. And they have these strict gun laws. You can't go down there with weapons. There's people down in them subways, bro. They got problems. You don't want to deal with it. Same thing in LA. Let's continue.
Our subway system.
Would you increase police everywhere?
I've said that I think we have the right number of police officers in the department right now. We need to ensure that they can actually be doing police work. Oftentimes, I'll hear from officers, I'll see it myself, that when a tourist is in Times Square subway station, they have to ask someone which train is running. They're having to ask a police officer. We can't disentangle that from the fact that officers in 2020 had a response time less than 11 minutes. Now it's around 16.
As we get on the train, we see a sight that's all too familiar to many New Yorkers during their commute.
There's obviously a homeless gentleman on the train. Solution for that?
There are about 4,300 New Yorkers who are homeless living on our subway platforms, our streets, our parks. And there's almost the same number of vacant supportive housing units in this city. So there's a lot of issues in politics that have to do with funding, a lot of issues that have to do with creating new infrastructure. There's also some that have to do with actually making the bureaucracy work, tackling the incompetence. Because right now, to have those vacancies while you have so many who are homeless, who are going through a mental health crisis, and not providing them those services, that's a shame.
Did y'all hear what he said, though? And again, we're talking about New York. I know we don't live in New York, but again, to have a politician who not only knows what the problem is, but is giving a viable solution. The guy says, again, the report is like, look, there's a homeless guy right there. First of all, this is the first time I've ever seen a candidate for an office, for like a city like New York, like a big metropolitan city, take an interview from mainstream media and just walking around the streets and going into the subways and stuff like that, man. It just shows you how sharp this dude is. He is ready to confront any issue that may pop up on this random trek, right? Most politicians, I'm here to tell you, because I've worked in politics before, done some volunteer work, and I've actually made a little bit of money in politics before. Politicians want to control every environment, and they want to create this narrative that they can stick to in their talking points and all that kind of stuff. I never met a politician who was like, yeah, let's go down here and do this. Never, bro. He's down there. Of course he has the security. You're with, mainstream media, ABC News, and bam, there's a homeless person. And right away he's able to, he had an answer for that question. That's a very tough problem to solve. They're like, well, how are you going to solve this? And he's like, look, it's like right now within the system, right now, we have 4,200 vacancies out there that's within the system, if I'm hearing him right. Like there are 4,200 vacancies out there for people who are homeless that need the help. And there's roughly about 4,200 folks out there homeless. Why is it we're not putting them into these spots that we have for them? That's an amazing answer. And then when you listen to his solution, it's like, well, damn, if he's correct, you do your research. It's like, if he's correct, damn, that shit would work. Right? You got 4,200 or so homeless folks, and you got, let's say you got 3,800, units. Even if you only get 2,800 homeless people into them units within the first 12 months, bro, that's a huge improvement. Not only is it good for the people of the city, but it's good for the people who are struggling. Like you're getting them on their way. You're getting them squared away. Bro, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
In 1991 in Uganda, Mamdani moved to New York at 7 years old. His mom, a filmmaker.
1991, bro. I was fighting in Operation Desert Storm, and this guy was just being born.
His dad, a university professor.
What did you think initially of New York City when you moved here as a 7-year-old?
It was incredible, and it's a city that has given me the world. It's a city where I met my wife, a city where I got my citizenship, a city where I learned also what it meant to be a New Yorker. And to me, just being here on this train, so much of my life began on this train, the one train.
The one? Because you grew up in Manhattan.
Yep, I grew up on 118th and Riverside, and I would take the one everywhere. I would take the one up for high school to 231st, and to be back on this train looking to lead the city, it's part of why I'm running, which is because I love this city.
Now, it just hit me that Zoran wasn't born in America, and he was not born to an American, so he can never be president of the United States, but he could be senator of New York one day. I think that's the highest office he will be able to achieve. But still, I think that Zoran Mamdani might be the first of a new style of politician that we're going to get here in America, a politician who can get through the money wall and actually get to elected office and actually help people. America's at a point now, bro, where there's no middle class. Everybody like to call themselves middle class. Either you have it or you don't. It's if you can afford your bills and you can afford to go out and do things and you have money saved away, you have a party fund and you have a college fund for your kids and you have extra money on hand to do whatever you want to do, you good, you got it. Everyone else don't, right? The average American right now, they're having trouble just paying the basic necessities. They're having trouble. They got to choose between, okay, am I going to miss the car note this month so I can get some meds for my kid because my kid's sick and needs this medication? Or, do I, am I going to be on time with the mortgage this month, or do I get my blood pressure medication or whatever the case may be, right? People are trying to figure it out. Like, what am I going to pay? Do I pay my insurance or do I pay for food? That's most Americans. So either you have it or you don't. It's kind of like what Andrew Tate said way back in the day, man. It's not the have and have nots anymore. It's the have yachts and the have nots. And if you ain't got a yacht parked outside your house, bro, you know what team you own.
How do you feel that the city has changed in that amount of time?
New York City has always been an expensive place, but we are now the most expensive place in America. And the affordability crisis is such that people are being pushed out of the city. There are so many New Yorkers who have had to move. They live in Jersey City, they live in Connecticut, they live in Pennsylvania. There are so many people who work in this city who, after they finish their job, they then commute. It is a crisis, and I think for all of the concern about the potential of what we could stand to lose in the future, we're losing sight of the fact of who we're losing today. We're seeing an exodus of working people, and it's because we're pricing them out.
So when you're growing up, your dad says, what would you like to be? Sell hot dogs, sanitation worker, or a police officer? You choose the sanitation worker. Why?
I think the cleanliness of our streets is something I care deeply about. And it was also one of the most clear examples for me of what city workers do every single day to keep our streets clean. There are 300,000 municipal workers in New York City who every single day, no matter who the mayor is, they get up and they do their job and they keep the city running. And I think about sanitation, for many, it's the difference between a city that they want to live in and a city that they don't feel is taken care of. And one thing that I'm going to ensure is that in my administration, I'm not going to be cutting funding for sanitation.
I'm just struck by the disparity. I have to go back again to, the gentleman who's homeless on this car that we're sitting on. And I was reading a report today that billionaires are flooding their money to try to make sure you don't win because there's a concern that you're going to increase their taxes, that will be the way that you provide the free bus services, the free childcare, etc.
That's exactly what he's going to have to do. You're going to have to increase taxes. And what he's proposing is that he's going to increase taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers by 2%. Okay, 2%. That's nothing, right? I wouldn't be mad at that. And he's going to raise the corporate tax rate in New York City to match the corporate tax rate in New Jersey. So whatever the tax rate is in New Jersey, that's what he wants to raise it to in New York City. Those two things will bring in a bunch of money. And with that money, you can keep the streets clean. With that money, we can keep some housing affordable and stuff like that. And they're going to get into the affordable housing part, but I understand and I get it. Like, the people who are, against that message, I get it. When people say, hey, you're going to tax the rich, they're going to leave. I don't think that's the case, but you could have some problems with that. I get where it's coming from, but a 2% tax increase on, I think, the wealthiest New Yorkers, I think he said on the top 1% of New Yorkers or something like that. 2%, bro, that's not going to hurt them at all, in the least. New York is extremely expensive, bro. And it's like California, bro. And, 2%, they won't even notice that. They just don't like the fact that they're paying more. Why is it that the 1%, the wealthy folks, the big money, they don't want this guy to get in the office? Because I think they've looked at his plan and they've analyzed it, and they're not afraid of him because he's an immigrant, because he's young, because he's a socialist. They're afraid that if he gets into office in New York, that he can actually make these things happen. He can actually deliver. That's what's gonna frighten them. That, and you couple that with the fact that they can't buy him. So he's going to do it. And when folks see it, when the average person sees that, man, this guy came in here and he did what he said he's going to do, and my life is a little bit better. One of his proposals, he's talking about universal child care for all New Yorkers. Bro, if he can pull that off, you don't think other cities are going to be looking like, yo, how did he do that? Like, yo, can we do something like that? Right? The rent control stuff he's talking about doing, it makes sense to me. But I can see how there could be some downstream effects, some negative effects. You might lose investor money. You might have some people taking their businesses elsewhere. Maybe. You know what I mean? But man, I want to see this guy try.
The solution, there's such a disparity in this country as we sit here on this subway car.
I mean, this is an illustration of the crisis in this city. We are talking about the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. And 1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty. That man's home are those seats. That is unacceptable. And yes, I do believe that raising taxes on the top 1% by 2%, raising the corporate tax to match that of New Jersey, I believe those are rational, sensible ways for us to raise the revenue to fund this affordability agenda. And I think it's necessary because this is the city we're living in right now, and it's not a city that we can accept any longer. It has to be a place that understands that public transit should be for public transit. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Look at that. People love him. Can't even get through the interview.
We should actually have housing for people who are looking for it. Not ask them to sleep on our trains.
We pause for a moment, as after all, Mamdani says he is not taking any votes for granted.
Oh my God, what the hell? Yo!
What's going on? Yes, you can take a picture.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother.
You're the next.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
During the primaries, you got more than 545,000 votes, a number of them young people. What do you think it is about you, about your message that resonates so much with the young?
Bro, this dude, think about the last major politician that had the young people with him, right? Barack Obama. Look where that pushed him. Look where that took him. Young folks are a force to be working with politically in America, but you just got to get them involved. And a lot of them don't want to get involved because there's a bunch of bullshit. Let's keep it 100. And young people know, like, bro, the 1%, they run this. So when they get behind someone, when they finally choose someone, right? Look at AOC. How did she get into Congress? Young people. Like, you look at Bernie. Bernie would have been president of the United States were it not for Hillary Clinton and the Democrats cheating him 100% out in California. They said he didn't get those delegates. They did something. Hillary and the Democrats did something because Bernie owned California. Bernie was bigger than the Foo Fighters. Right? When Bernie came in, all them young kids were feeling the burn, bro. So yeah, the Clinton and the Democrats did something. And that's been documented. You can look it up. I ain't just talking crazy. I was out there, man. I saw it. Bernie Sanders defeated Hillary Clinton in that primary and would have gone on to defeat Donald Trump the first time. We never would have had Donald Trump as president of the United States. So when I look at this, people ask me like, well, you don't seem too upset, like, talking about MAGA and all this. I'm like, man, that's Hillary's fault. Man. That's the Democrats' fault. That's what they get. Democrats did the same thing with Biden this time around. Same thing. That debacle we had with Biden and Kamala and all that kind of stuff, that's the Democrats' fault. Democrats Time and time again, they figure out a way to screw stuff up. So now you got these young people. The young people aren't beholden to the Democrats. The Democrats didn't give Mamdani any money. Right? He did all this despite what they were doing. They tried to stop him. The amount of money, he says this all the time. He's like, bro, the amount of money that they're spending to keep me out of office is more than what I'm asking in this tax increase. That blew my mind. Right? This guy, like I said, it might be, I don't know, maybe 10 major things he's talking about changing. Bro, if he can just get 3 or 4 of them done in one term, he get 3 or 4 of them done. He is the man.
You know, one of the young people that I just met here on the train actually quoted back our corporate tax plan to me, and that was probably one of the best parts of today. I think part of it is that there's been a real condescension in the way that we speak to young people in politics. And if that's how you speak to people, then they will not give you the time of day that you're looking for. You have to treat people with the respect that they deserve.
We talked how you were polling at just 1% in February. Now that you are really the front runner in this race, you had thousands of people at your rally last night. At this moment, are you thinking you are going to be New York City?
You know, that is how Andrew Cuomo was thinking with 8 days to go to the primary election, that he was inevitable. And we shattered that inevitability.
Like, yo, people love this guy, man. Like, we're gonna watch this a little bit more, and then of course I'm gonna but I will link this interview in the description below so you guys can check out the whole thing. I just want him to talk. I want you to see how this guy is moving through the streets of New York and how New Yorkers are responding to him, man. He owns the young vote, right? And the Democrats don't own him. Like the 1% money don't own him. Wall Street money don't own him. Chuck Schumer can't say that. Hakeem Jeffries can't say that. Hell, AOC really can't say that at this point. She's in the establishment, right? So this guy's up and coming. And yeah, that money is going to come for him at some point. Who knows what's going to happen 10, 15, 20 years down the line. But right now, this guy gets into New York as the mayor. And like I said, if he's able to just implement a few of these changes, bro, there's no stopping him. There's no stopping him if he can figure it out. You know, and, they got their little commercials or whatever, but I want to see if this guy makes it.
Hi, guys. See you, man. Have a great trip, man. I'll see you.
Now above ground, Zoran Mamdani is just as recognizable.
How'd you get up here? How you doing, man? How are you?
Sorry, I didn't vote for you.
Oh, it's all right. I still hope to be your mayor.
When you're a little older, I'll vote for you.
I'll get older every day.
Does he have your vote?
No,
She didn't.
I voted for Cuomo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Still looking to be your
All right.
mayor, though.
Yeah, I hate Cuomo, but he does great things. What can I say?
Are there any times that you can walk a
You see how that is? Like, even the people who didn't vote for him, like that older woman, like, the traditional voter, right? This woman, she's probably a 1%er in New York like that. She's got bread. She's like, oh, I didn't vote for you, but she knows who he is. Like, I didn't vote for you. You heard what she said? Maybe if you were a little bit older, when you get a little older, maybe I'll vote for you. They feeling him too. Like, it's just something about this guy. Maybe it's just because, he's a good dude. He's legit. He's original. He's shaking hands and kissing babies like he's supposed to, but he also knows his stuff. Right. And I get a feeling that this guy's the same dude in front of and behind the camera. So, I mean, it's just that authenticity, man, that goes so far. Like, a lot of times I tell folks too, like, meeting celebrities, people that you idolize, and meeting, big time politicians, bro, you're going to get let down because these people are flawed, man. You realize that they're not really smart. You realize that they're good actors. Like, you realize they basically pretending to be someone else. And then you sit down with them, it's like, damn, this dude, wow, I can't believe I voted for this dude. Or, wow, I can't believe that, I thought this was a cool chick right here. This actress, she is horrible. She's god awful. And if you don't believe me, man, look at the governor's race in California. Like, the Democrat, the woman who's running for governor out there, I think she's the front runner, a horrible person, bro. Horrible person. Like, you can see this on camera. You can see the way she treats the folks that work with her. And then all the write-ups, people are like, even Bill Maher was like, I can't stand this chick. Like, she's just a god awful person. But he was saying I might vote for her depending on who else is out there in the field. Crazy work.
New York and be a little incognito at this point?
Not really.
Yeah. How do you adjusted to that?
It is a different life, but so much of it is so exciting because this is the city that I love, and to have the opportunity to serve this city, to lead this city, and also to get the chance to meet New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs. It's really been a joy.
What would the significance for you be of becoming the first Muslim mayor of New York?
And we're going to leave it there. We'll leave it there. I'm going to link this video in the description below. I really encourage you guys to go and watch the rest of it. Also, just type his name in, man. Just put in Zohran Mamdani and put in his interviews and watch. You know, he did the Breakfast Club. That was a really good interview. Very, very good interview. I highly recommend it. And he also did the Today Show, Jon Stewart. That was a good conversation as well. And I was watching that conversation with Jon Stewart. I'm like, would Jon Stewart vote for this guy? I think Jon Stewart, I know he used to be a resident in New York. I don't know if he's living there now. But I'm watching this thing. I'm like, would he vote for the guy? But it was a good conversation. It wasn't contentious at all. But I'm just like really paying attention to what Jon Stewart, how he was moving, what he was saying, what he was asking. And I'm not quite sure if he would. And Zohran never asked him. Mamdani never said, hey, can I count on your vote? Or if you're in New York, could I count on your vote? He never asked him. So I don't know if Jon Stewart actually supports him, but it was a good interview nonetheless. So check it out, man. Again, this guy can never run for president of the United States. He wasn't born in America, to my knowledge. Like I said, he was born overseas, but he is a naturalized citizen. He's a U.S. citizen. He's a New Yorker. He's raised in New York. He loves New York. He also did Flagrant. Watch that interview on Flagrant. It was pretty cool. Schultz and his crew, man, watching that show, man, it's like watching a bunch of teenagers, even though these are grown ass men. Mamdani was really trying to do what he had to do. He got through the interview pretty good, but Andrew Schultz, man, sometimes he just, trying too hard to be a kid. It's like, man, sometimes you got to grow up for certain shit. But it was some good points. They made some good points and they had some good conversations in that interview. You should watch that as well. As a matter of fact, I'll link all those interviews in the description below so you guys can check them out. And yeah, man, again, it's not going to affect you if you don't live in New York. But I think that Mamdani might be the prototype of the new type of politician because Americans, they can't lose anything else. Everything has been taken from them. The 1% has everything. Either you have it or you don't these days. And Americans feel it now, especially with the government shutdown going on right now. Americans can see that they can't go a paycheck without getting paid. Everything falls apart, right? Healthcare premiums going up because of that big, beautiful bill. And the people who are going to be hurt the most by this safety net being pulled away are the MAGA people, right? Most of the people on welfare, the vast majority of folks on SNAP and welfare and getting all these benefits are MAGA folks. They're white folks, right? That's country's made up of white people. They want to say that people like me are the people who make up, welfare and all that. No, I'm not a welfare recipient. I don't qualify. I wish I could get some food stamps or SNAP or whatever. I don't qualify. I don't qualify for any help. And most of the people I know don't qualify for help, right? Most of the people that are on assistance are MAGA folks, right? And don't take my word for it. MAGA people were saying this, right? So, I mean, it is what it is. They were saying, hey, man, this is going to hurt you. But Trump doesn't care because Trump knows he can't be president again. He's old. He's unhealthy. He's making billions and billions of dollars a month as president, making all these deals all over the world, forcing money to come to him. He doesn't care what's going on with everybody else. Trump really doesn't care about MAGA. It's nothing personal. He just doesn't care. Right? Simple as that. But that's going to usher in, I believe, a new wave of politicians, possibly. They won't take money from the 1%. They will get in via grassroots efforts, get the people behind them, and get into office. Simple as that. And as far as president of the United States in 2028, who's going to win that race? I don't know, but I think your top 3 Democrats are going to be Newsom, Moore, and Shapiro. I think those are going to be the top 3 Democrats. Whichever one of those 3 or whoever comes out of the Democratic primary as the winner, that's going to be the next president of the United States. There's not a Republican out there that can come behind Trump and this MAGA thing that's going on right now and win. Hardcore Republicans aren't going to come out and vote because they're disillusioned. They're hurting. Farmers ain't going to vote for Trump. Ranchers ain't going to vote for Trump. Poor people aren't going to vote for Trump. Why? Because they lost everything under this second administration. So whichever Democrat gets through that primary is going to be the next president of the United States. And I think it's going to boil down to those three names I just mentioned. You got Moore, Newsom, and Shapiro. So y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I crazy? Am I close? You know what I mean? Am I hot? Am I cold? Y'all let me know. And appreciate you, man. Please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's it, man. And I will see you guys around, man. I'm DL Saint, and this is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I'll see you guys soon. Peace. Hey, if you enjoyed that, please check out this video or maybe this video. We can really use your support. Thanks. Peace.